The philosophy behind the Nexus range has always been high spec, low cost. The 5th device from Google's purebred smartphone series carries on this tradition with a powerful 5-inch device carrying an almost suspiciously low price tag. The Nexus 5 is a solid smartphone packing a top-end quad-core Snapdragon 800 chip clocked at 2.3 GHz, as well as a Full HD display offering an impressive 445 ppi. It therefore goes without saying that this is a phone that looks and feels great under the thumb, whizzing effortlessly through tasks and playing video with crystal-like clarity. That said, overall the design doesn't do the Nexus 5 much justice. We definitely admire how LG has managed to fit the larger display into a slimmer form factor, but in general the aesthetics don't exactly scream style. Of course, looks aren't everything, especially when the Nexus 5 is offering both power and the latest version of Android, version 4.4 KitKat. KitKat might not rock your world in the same way you were hoping version 5.0 would, but it does mark a noticeable step forward for Google's mobile OS, bringing deeper integration with Google Now and the Hangouts app. The Nexus 5 has been given a bump in storage too, with Google offering 16 and 32 gig flavours this time round. It probably goes without saying that there's no microSD slot to be found, but the higher memory allowance should satisfy most users' needs. The camera on the Nexus 5 is a massive improvement over the Nexus 4, but we still found it very much hit and miss. The addition of OIS definitely helps, particularly in low light situations where you might have trouble getting clear shots, but the camera's fickle focusing nature and occasional shutter lag really hinders its picture taking performance. In terms of overall picture quality, while images did look sharp and colours natural, they also lacked punch, making them appear washed out a lot of the time. The battery life on the Nexus 5 seems to be very much a mixed bag. During our test, the phone would power on for anywhere between 5 and 11 hours before hitting the critical mark. Because it's a little unpredictable, we'd recommend charging the Nexus 5 whenever you can. Obviously, factors like signal strength and usage will affect how long it holds out for, but overall we found the performance to be a little subpar, making us long for that 3000 mAh juice pack we saw on the LG G2. The new handset from Google brings all the latest Android 4.4 has to offer, along with excellent performance by nearly every measure. It's just a shame the camera and battery life holds this device back. Google's promised software fixes to address these issues, but for now we don't know how soon or to what extent. Nevertheless, these issues are not enough to keep us from recommending the Nexus 5, particularly when you consider you're getting a smartphone with top-of-the-line specs for a paltry £300 contract-free. You'd be hard-pressed to find anything that even comes close to that price point with the specs that the Nexus 5 boasts.